Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today, the very first day of 2023. I think that's great. Everybody excited for the year? Okay, good. We'd like to welcome all the people from social media also that are joining us from all parts unknown. But we're glad that you're here with us. And before we get started on this song, I just wanted to mention something. First day of the first month of the new year, I wanted to sing a song to remind everyone that tomorrow is not promised to anyone. I've lost a number of people this year, a couple of people that were family members, close family members, and a couple of really, really dear friends. And I just wanted to remind everyone to go out there and make that phone call. Don't let anything go unsaid. Make sure the people that you love know it. Call your people, call your tribe. Say hello and tell them you love them, because we live on borrowed time. I never thought that there would be a love like yours and mine. I never thought that I would see the day that I would find a love that feels so right. And here we are tonight, and the only thing we really need is time. 'Cause we live on borrowed time. No one can be sure when the loan will finally come due. And I'm loving all of mine. I know what time is for. I've borrowed it so I could spend it all right here with you. Now we may have a year, we may have a lifetime. No one can be certain what the future will allow. And you and I are here, and this time is the right time. But one thing we know for certain is that we have each other now. We live on borrowed time. Yesterday has passed. Tomorrow seems a million miles away. But I promise you that I'm gonna make love last by living every moment, every hour, every day. Now we may have a year, we may have a lifetime. No one can be certain what the future will allow. But you and I are here, and this time is the right time. And one thing that I know is that we have each other now. We live on borrowed time. Let's celebrate and sing as we walk bravely into the unknown. And we're gonna be just fine, whatever life may bring. We'll face it all together, and we'll never be alone. We may not have forever, but our time will be our own.
And so we welcome to the platform in a little bit our own Reverend Zemke, who will be sharing, and his talk title is Our Future, Our Choice. My inspirational reading for today is taken from Daily Word, and it's for January 1st, of course, today, and it's entitled Fresh Start. And it reads, "Centered in God, I create a fresh, new life. I begin this year with renewed enthusiasm and a fresh perspective. I feel vibrantly alive as I realize that all the love, wisdom, energy, and strength of God are mine to express in my life right now. Grateful for the lessons of life experience, I released past disappointments with a forgiving heart. I find harmony in my relationships as I look beyond differences and focus on the divine life and love that unite all people. I go about my work seeking to serve others with a humble heart. I find ways to develop and evolve my skills and nurture my talents, allowing to make healthy choices as I continue to grow and learn. This year, I will thrive in all areas of my life as I feel God's presence everywhere present, everywhere I go, and in everything I do." And from Revelation 21, verse 5, "And the one who was seated on the throne said, 'See, I make all things new.' And so it is." And let us now listen to music by Carol and the Goodfellows. I release and I let go.
There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you're discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go, let it go. And this is what you've got to say: I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I am only here for God, yeah. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I am only here for God, yeah. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I am only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. I am only here for God, yeah. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I am only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I am only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I am only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I am only here for God. Yeah. Woo.
Good morning to everyone again. Welcome and thank you, Carol and the Goodfellows, for your outstanding music. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm put in the mind of the spirit of letting go. How many of you have seen the animated film Frozen? If you haven't seen it, it's a Disney film, and it's worth your time. The story involves two sisters who have a very close, very deep relationship, and one gets hurt, and she closes off her life to the other sister and ultimately to life. And the film is really about letting go, and the story unfolds about how all of that happens. In our own life, our future is in part determined by what we're doing now. But I want to affirm for everyone in our particular way of life, looking at metaphysics out of that particular window of life, that the presence that we call life is always undergirding us wherever we are. Isn't that affirming to know that that power is there? Even when we feel the most alone, the most forsaken, the most abandoned, and nothing is going right, no one loves us anymore, and all of this sob story that we hear. Sob story in our culture is big business. And if you don't believe it, just watch television, because you get to hear lots of sadness about she and he and they done me wrong. We need to move on in our lives from who did us wrong in the past, in the current time, and the anticipation of wrongdoing in the current time. One of those areas has to do, of course, with paying attention to the world in which we live. I suggested to a friend and also a member of the church about a month ago who was having a lot of personal conflict about the news. And I said, would you be willing to turn off the television for a month? We had this interesting discussion. I won't go into the detail, but eventually the idea was, okay, I'll do it. Well, I had the follow-up discussion this week, and the verdict was I didn't miss any of it. I did not miss any of it, and I feel 100% better. Doesn't that sound wonderful? Now, I'm not telling you to turn off television and turn away from the world. We have many things we enjoy. Many of us are sports fans, and of course, we can't miss a game, whether it's in our own country or some other part of the world. We've got to hear what the latest commentator said about whichever man is on the news media and whatever tragedy is going on in the earth. But we need to recognize that we are part of this world, you and me. We're here. We're part of this life. So what is it about our life that you want to focus on for the future? Remember, as I said before, God is in charge. Remember that there is an all-pervasive guiding power that runs the universe. Have you ever thought, I'm sure you have, of the power that keeps everything in movement? The cycles of the planets that interweave and interconnect to and with each other. The latest research in the field of science that is akin to astronomy and its related dimensionality is that there is no known limit to what we think of as the physical universe. It is so big and so expansive and so constantly in motion and changing that even the most brilliant among us cannot find the right set of words and concepts to put that into form. I think that's astonishing. I watched a nature program on television probably 2 months ago, put out by PBS, I believe, and they were talking about the annual cycles of the animals and the birds that trek from one part of the planet to another in North America, South America, and in Europe. And it was so fascinating for me to see these hundreds of millions of birds and beings moving from one part of the world to another by some internal force. Now we say that's a natural force. It's a natural force. Yes, it is a natural force. But think about that. Everything in the world in which we share a relationship is in motion. We're part of a cosmic motion going on all the time. And we are part of that as well. Now, we do have an opportunity, I think, to ask in our life for our own needs. I think part of what the Bible promised in the promise that was given in the statement written, attributed, I should say, to Jesus, ask and it shall be given unto you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. Applies to me, applies to you. So what is it that you want in your life? I suggest, and of course you might say, well, you would be being a minister, that we put our spiritual life first. For me, it seems that's the most important thing, because everything else falls away in our life. That's really what remains ultimately. But it doesn't mean that we give up having a relationship with a wonderful woman or a wonderful man, or our sons or our daughters or our children or grandchildren, or friends or family, near and far away. They are too part of our life. But ask, what is of importance to you? And if you get nothing more out of this talk today, leave with the question in your mind, what is most important to me? I cannot answer that for you. I don't know what it is. For some of you, it's about finding more of your purpose, experiencing healing, feeling better, attracting a new woman, new man, new person into your life, new opportunity, new work, more money. Whatever it is, all of that's appropriate if it is in alignment with who you are as a man, as a woman, as a soul. Just ask. And the Spirit of God will guide you. The Holy Spirit is there to guide you. If you say to yourself, I want to be stronger, acknowledge that you already have the strength in you to be stronger. If you want to be more intuitive, you have already the capacity to be more intuitive. I want to be more insightful. I want to be inspired. I want to be more loving. I want to be more kind. I want to be more thoughtful toward the men, women, and children in my life. I tell you, if you ask for that, the opportunity is going to show up. Just drive on our freeways one day, and you will begin to find out how thoughtful you are of all the people who want to get ahead of you and get faster to the goal wherever it is that they're going, irrespective of what the traffic signals may be or whoever else is in their path. And I'm not criticizing that. I'm just saying we live in the world of flesh and form, so part of our life is about traveling on a freeway. Now you may say, well, I don't travel on the freeway. Well, maybe not. I do. And it's an exciting experience. None is ever the same. Nothing is ever the same. There is never a time that I get in my car and I don't say, God, help me. Help me make the wisest decision with the men and women out in front of me. I'll do my best. Help me to do my best so I do not help anybody else to have any other experience except a good one and get me safely to my destination and back. 2 other points I want to make. When we ask to be guided, realize that whatever it is that we're asking for, let's say we want to have better health, we want more money in our life, we have to be willing to be open in our life to what it is that we're asking for. The wheels of life turn, but I don't know that they turn instantaneously. You know, one woman pointed out to me not just too long ago, she said, well, if you really want more money, buy a lotto ticket. Well, usually the lotto ticket goes to one man, one woman, or maybe one group. But in order to be in the circle, you have to buy a ticket. You have to get into the flow of it. You have to ask. You have to do your part. We all have to do our part. If we seek medical help, in other words, we need healing for an imbalance in our chemistry, there are hundreds, thousands, perhaps even millions of well-trained men, women, and professional people surrounding us that are willing and ready and able to help us. We have to be open and then follow the rules or guidance. I had an interesting, very short discussion this week with a longtime friend of mine who has been seeking medical help because she has an ongoing issue with sugar in her life. She's a diabetic, has been diagnosed from an early age, and has diabetes number 1, whatever that means in medical language. And she has an issue, as she mentioned to me, by giving up her favorite sugar things. Now I said, how many times a day do you kiss your husband? And she went silent. She said, probably not enough. Well, all joking aside, sugar is an issue. And whether it shows up in muffins or bread or cakes or pies or drinks or whatever are on the table, she has to deal with that. But I said, the Holy Spirit will guide you, will support you, if you really, really are sincere in wanting to change. Because I know personally many men and many women who have changed, who have let it go, and their chemistry has come back into balance. Do I say it's easy? No. Do I know that it's easy? I have never had it, so I don't know about that. But I can only affirm that if you ask for help, it will be there. But you and I have to do our part, don't we? Our body will heal, but it has an agenda. It takes its time. Our body is made of flesh and blood and bone, and it will renew itself. Once you get on a program, don't keep changing the dial on the program. How many of us like to change the dial on our life? I want a little more of this, a little less that. She's too much, he's not enough. Turn her up, turn him down. You know, a little more money, a little less heat, a little bit more air conditioning, and so it goes. We regulate the external circumstances of our life. How about taking your hand off the dial and saying, you know, God, you're in charge of my life. Help me to make the best decision, and let me follow what you impress upon my heart, my soul to be. Ask of the help that you need. Trust that it will be there, and then follow through. I want to offer a suggestion, actually 2 suggestions, before I close. Whatever the goal is that you set for yourself, that you find that is available to you, be sure that you, the man, the woman behind your nose, believes in it. Don't ask for the support of your friends, your family, your brother, your sister, your husband, your wife, your son, your daughter, whoever. It's okay to ask them, but you've got to believe in it. If you don't believe in it, your husband, your wife, your son, your daughter, your friends can say yes, 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 but if you don't believe in it, forget it, because it is not going to manifest in your life. You've got to believe that. Believing in yourself. Remember, you and I are some of the most powerful men and women on the planet. All sacred writing, including the Bible, talks about the glory of the inner man, the inner woman, the inner being, the holy and the sacred being. We're all sacred beings, but we don't own that. We tend to say, yes, maybe, but that's true for other people, but not for me. I'm just an ordinary guy. I'm just an ordinary gal. There's nothing ordinary about any of us. We're super ordinary. But many of us say, well, when I was younger, I was a little bit super. But now I'm older and I know better. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, we don't get to be older unless we trust that the power that guides the universe is still guiding our chariot. Do you believe that? Yeah. How many of you believe that God's guiding your chariot? Yeah. How many of you are driving a chariot? Not every hand is up. How many of you are driving a bicycle? Well, that too, that's good. Bicycle is good. How many of you are on foot? Or on your favorite horse? It doesn't matter. All I'm after is that you need to believe in the goal, in the vision, in the revelation that has been given to you. You need to believe in it. And the second piece, really trust that if what you ask for in your life is going to happen in your life, you've got to be willing to follow through. I want to share with you a true story. It'll take a few minutes to set it up, but it's an interesting story and happens to be a true event. About 20 years ago, a woman came to visit with me professionally, and she was very seriously interested in meeting a new man in her life. Her husband had died many years prior to that. She was probably around, I would say, 60 years of age. A nice-looking lady from my point of view, very outgoing, social, friendly, but wherever she went, she couldn't seem to connect with any man. And I said, well, you need to keep asking. She said, God, LeRoy, I've been asking every damn day, and there's no man showing up. Where are they hiding? And she says, I even came to your church, and they all run away when I show up. And I said, well, you haven't approached them in the right way. She said, well, tell me what is the right way. So we had our discussion, and I said, just keep open, stay open. About a week later, from the consult, she had an invitation to attend a wedding in Georgia, somewhere around Columbus, Georgia, I believe. A cousin of hers wanted her to come, stay with her while a family wedding went on. She knew the member of the family but wasn't close to her, but her cousin called her and said, I want you to go to the wedding with me. And she said, you want me to come to Georgia to go to a wedding? What is in your head? Do you know how much that costs? She says, yes, I'll send you the check. I'll send you a check for the cost of the fare. Oh, okay, that changed the opportunity. So she went. Had a visit for a week, and she went to lunch with her cousin, who had a neighbor. Turned out to be a good-looking man who showed up at lunch. And the lady I know and the neighbor spoke quite a bit to one another, and after the lunch, he indicated that he was interested in seeing her again. So she was in question, do I see him, or is this just a purely social event? The cousin said, well, if you don't have anything else to do, why don't you just see him? You can stay. Why don't you stay? Well, you know, my ticket is a round trip. You can change your ticket. So the lady stayed. 1 week stretched into 2, stretched into 4, stretched into 6, stretched into 2 months. Then she came back home, and the man followed her home. And I suspect you know the ending of this story. 6 months later, there were wedding bells for her and the man she met at a wedding she didn't want to go to. Now, I'm not promising anybody that if you go to a wedding you don't want to attend, you're going to meet a partner. I am not. But that was the opportunity that the universe provided for her. And it is apparently an ongoing relationship. That story that I'm talking about happened over 10 years ago. And they are living in the famous happily ever after. Whether you want a partner or not, or whether you have a partner, that's beside the point. To complete where I am today, I want to say to you, really know that your life is full. The garden in which you live has many flowers and many experiences that you need to tend that bring the bigger picture into fullness. Trust in every flower that's there and every experience that unfolds in that garden. And if in the garden you trip and you fall on a stone, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get on with the work of tending the garden. I love you. God bless you. Thank you. Carol, I'm going to ask you now to go ahead with your music. I usurped your place, and I really don't apologize for it, but I want to say thank you for being patient.
Certainly, certainly. So I guess Three Little Birds.
Are they going to do burn?
Yeah. You are going to do the burning bowl, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll just play a little something until then. Yeah.
Would you be willing to do, again, I didn't ask you of this before, but would you be willing to do Release and Let Go?
Sure.
Again? I would like to have that right ahead of this experience.
Yes.
Thank you.
I was going to sing it softly while people were...
Yes, thank you. Thank you. All right.
We're going to go ahead and do our song of the month. I'd like you to join in with us. It's called Three Little Birds. A little Bob Marley for you. Don't worry about a thing. Yeah, sing it out. What? 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Yeah. Don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Let me see you. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun.
Oh, good to see you.
Good to see you too,
Three
sir.
little birds pitched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, yeah, melodies of love and pure, saying, this is my message to you. Okay, here we go. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds, they were sitting by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Don't worry, last time,
Don't
about
worry
a thing,
about a thing.
'cause every little thing gonna be alright, yeah. Don't worry
now.
about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't
Every
worry,
little thing.
it's gonna be alright.
One more.
One more.
'Cause every little thing
It's gonna be alright. Have a nice afternoon, everyone.
Happy New Year!